Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is April. I'm a real estate broker and mortgage loan officer in Northern California. And this channel is about all things real estate. If you're new here, be sure to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss any future videos. And I would really be greatly appreciative if you could hit the thumbs up so that I know that this video brought you some value and I know what to make for you in the future. Today, we're going to be talking about the Agent Visual Inspection Disclosure, or the AVID. Super important form, and I'm going to tell you why in just a minute. So let's jump into it. Okay, so I've pulled up here for us an example of the Agent Visual Inspection Disclosure, otherwise known as the AVID. This is a California Association of Realtors form, so this is obviously going to be specific to California. This first page, not much you can get wrong on here. You're just going to fill in the information that it's asking for: city, state, county, property, address, and your brokerage firm. The second and third pages, this is where we get into it. So an important thing to note about the AVID, if you see up here at the top, it's got a unit number. If you've got a duplex, triplex, whatever, you're going to need a separate AVID for each unit. So you're going to put the number there, and then you're going to complete a new one for each additional unit. So basically the gist of the AVID is that you want to disclose enough to prevent yourself from excessive liability while also being somewhat vague. You don't want to get too specific or beyond the scope of your ability as a real estate agent. So let's just go through a few things here. This AVID is kind of a mixed bag of some things that aren't so great and some things that are done well. So let's talk about a few of these. So you're going to again put in the brokerage name, date, time that you did the inspection, and you're going to want to put in weather conditions. You want to make sure you're talking about if it's overcast or if it's raining or if it's sunny, because that makes a difference in how you are able to view things here. For other persons present, don't put in just buyers or inspector or whoever else is there. You're going to put in their actual names. This gives you a little backup in case there's some kind of dispute that you did this AVID. First of all, the most important thing is that you're going to want to put something in every section. Sometimes I'll see AVIDs come in where the agent says nothing to note. That's no good. There's always something. There's always something in every single room of every single home that you can find to make note of. Even if it's just a drop of paint on the baseboard or a scuff on a wall, that's something that you can note in every single room. You want to get something in every room. It gives you a better chance at protecting yourself. Another thing to note is that you want to word things in terms of what the condition is at the current moment, that you can see observable conditions. We're not going to talk about repairs that need to be done. We don't want to talk about anything in the future. So for example, this paint needs touch up. A better way to phrase this would have been that there are scuffs in the paint. That's the current condition, rather than there's a repair that needs to be made. Okay, moving on. So if we look at this one, holes and anchors in the wall. Paint needs touch up. Again, we already talked about something needs touch up in the future. We're not going to put that. Another thing is using words like slightly. You don't want to use subjective wording. You want to be completely objective. So carpet is slightly worn. Slightly to you might be different than slightly to me. A better way to phrase this would just be carpet is worn. This is a pet peeve I have. It's not super important to the form, but please be careful about typos and incorrect grammar, punctuation, things like that. It's just annoying. These are contracts. We want to make them as accurate as possible. Another thing that we want to keep an eye out for, it's not important to the document itself, but typos such as this, spelling mistakes, grammar mistakes, these are legal documents, so we want to make them as accurate as possible. Sometimes I'll see an AVID that is like an amateur home inspector. They're talking about code violations or things that are failing, that it's really not our place to do that. It's our place to just observe what is going on at the moment that we're looking at it. So we're not going to talk about code violations. We also don't want to be super specific
in the words that we used. For example, this one says nail holes. We don't know that those little tiny holes in the wall are nail holes. So holes in the wall is sufficient for the Avid. Furthermore, you are never, ever, ever, ever going to use the word mold on an Avid. We're not going to say that at all. So we don't know if it's a mold spore, if it's a mildew spore, if it's some other fungus growing. It's not our call to make. We haven't taken any samples. So to be that specific is not okay. And the word mold in general, I mean, we're pretty much not going to use that in real estate unless we have an inspection that has tested and done a sample and has found exact mold in a house. Don't use the word mold. It's just a red flag. It's going to make a deal fall through. At a very minimum, it's going to create issues with the seller or the buyer. Something I like to do on my Avids is include any fixtures that are out of the ordinary. For example, if there are hooks affixed to the ceiling to hang items from, I'll make note of things like that. If there is a pet door installed in a door to a garage, I'll make note of that. We want to call out anything that's a little bit different, that isn't just normal construction, that is kind of an aftermarket sort of thing. That's it. Hopefully you can cut that off where I trailed off there. Finally, this section here, the other observed or known conditions, this is an important one to use to fill up with all the other things that don't really fit anywhere else. For example, this house had a tree that was leaning up against the deck, and the railing had actually been built around this tree. So that's something that we want to make note of. If there's freeway noise, you're going to make note of that here. If you cannot inspect the garage because the sellers are moving out and they have it filled with a bunch of boxes, you're going to say personal property limits full inspection. So it's noted that you went in there, you tried to do the inspection, but you weren't able to. Other than that, the very end of this form here, you're just going to go ahead and fill it out as normal signatures, normal agency information. All of that goes in here, and that is the proper way to do an Avid.
Thank you all for watching today. I hope this was helpful information for you. If you have any further questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments below, or you can DM me over on Instagram at April_Nossel. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, bye.